What's up, yup? What's up, yup? What's up, y'all? Good morning. Uh, so I had a little time because my kids at a class in the park, so I figured I'd just give you guys some more thoughts and share a little bit more. Just block the sun, I guess. So all things Tupac. I guess you guys can ask me questions, and I'll try to answer whatever questions I can. So I was riding with this guy, this child soldier from Liberia and Sierra Leone yesterday. He was born on Tupac's birthday, and he was talking about um, the corrupt governments that he grew up with. And then he was talking about how America is worse than any time he ever has remembered currently, and that corruption and greed is far more prevalent now than it ever has been. And we talk about Mr. Trump. I often think about if Pac was alive, how he would sort of take people like Trump to task. And, one of the things he had said to me in one of our last meetings was that in 6 months, no one's going to recognize me because I'm going to be such an adult with all my dealings. And in fact, I might run for mayor of Los Angeles, because he said that the politicians, the preachers, and the cops, those are the biggest gangs in America, not the Crips and the Bloods or the Mexicans or the other gangs, yeah, if he was alive, I think a lot of things would be different. I also see Jay-Z and P. Diddy and all these cats that are, even Dre, and these cats that are so revered because they're so financially solvent. They've made so much money. I think you're asking, did Tupac produce Made Niggas? I don't know if he produced it, but I don't know who produced it. But I produced and directed the video, produced it with Tracy and directed the video. So I don't know. I guess I got to get the hang of a live stream and how best to make use of it. Yeah, man, if Pac was alive, I think a lot of things would be different. A lot of things would be different for all the people that he loved. And a lot of things would be different in music. I don't think these janky-ass rappers of today, excuse me if any of you are big fans of the rappers today, but I don't get it. I don't get these face-tattooed, babbling idiots. It just doesn't seem like it's rap anymore. To me, rap was like a voice for the voiceless. It was an expression of discontent and gave life to people's struggles. Now what are they talking about? They're talking about nothing. I mean, I can't make any sense of it. It's just a beat, and that's it. But yeah, Tupac. Tats and pink hair won't fit in the nice. Yeah, no. No, not at all. Not at all, man. It's kind of crazy. But it sort of feels like the dumbing down of hip-hop is by design as well. Because all the MCs that had substance have been sidelined. And I don't know if it's the distributors or the labels that sort of push these younger cats that don't have a message over the guys that really did, like the Nas and Talib Kweli's and the Mos Defs. These guys are still around, but they're unheard of. They're underground now, which is kind of crazy. But You know, yeah. So, what else can I talk about? Tupac. I guess I gotta focus everything on Tupac. You know, I hope one day all the truths about him come out, truths about him, who he was, and how he was, and how he affected people. I think a lot of that stuff needs to come out still because we only have a very partial view of who he was. It's just a very dumbed down version. I think my biggest problem with that biopic was not that the script was bad, not that, you know, first and foremost, I think it was a mistake to do a 2-hour movie on Tupac, because how the fuck are you going to pick and choose what parts of his life you're going to cover? Because Pac at 25 was one of the most dynamic human beings that has ever been at the age of 25. So, yeah, Tupac. Oh, my biggest problem with that biopic was the guy that played Pac wasn't even the strongest character. He was maybe the third or fourth strongest character in the movie. And the problem I have with that is history is now taught through films. So this whole generation Z or X or whatever it is now is gonna think that Pac was just an average dude. Pac was not an average. There was nothing average about him. There was nothing average about his humor, his love, his anger, his hate. Nothing was average about that dude. And, you know, he was a genius in a lot of ways. Johnny J's, dude, Johnny J, man. You bring Johnny J up. I met with Johnny J a couple of years before he passed. I don't know anything about his death, but I'll tell you this. He played me maybe 8 tracks that didn't make it to the double CD that were just as fucking hardcore bangers as any track on there. Two America's Most Wanted, How Do You Want It, All About You. He had tracks that were just as good as those that didn't make it to the album. Let me turn around so I can see my kid. And what's fucked up is he probably had a whole other album of tracks that were not put out, and I just don't understand why. That I do not understand why whoever the decision makers have been with Johnny J's music or the Pac estate back then. I don't understand why they didn't just put a brand new or part 2 out. I don't know. I don't know about Pac music, dude. I don't know, because I'm not the shareholders to that. You know, I don't understand why One Nation was never released the way Tupac made it. I don't understand why acapellas were pulled off and put on with other producers. That's sacrilege to me. That's like taking verses of the Bible and rewriting them. You know, so I don't understand why that was done. I gotta move down here a little bit. So yeah, One Nation. Damn, that album was a banger, and a good collabo. I mean, I felt bummed for all the Duck Down crew. Those cats put their heart and soul in that album, and it was such an amazing collection of music and artists. And you know, yeah, not sure about that. Not sure why his legacy has not been. But you know, it's interesting because um, a lot of the artists that died young, Hendrix, Marley, Bruce Lee, even their stories are not told properly after they die. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because the people that run their estates, but you know, they've been trying to do a Bob Marley movie for 30 years and it hasn't happened right. And the same with Bruce Lee and Jimi Hendrix. You know, even they have unreleased tracks that haven't come out. So I pray for, at least for the Pac fans, for his music to come out and some more of these stories about him, about who he was. Uh, Shit, I hope I hope I have some sort of part of at least telling my little story. Uh, but you know, they say universe has its own schedule, and it's funny because you know I get a lot of fans that dog me out for not just releasing everything that I've got, putting on YouTube. I mean, that's a lovely concept, but it makes no business sense. Nor would it be paying homage to Tupac just to give his shit away for free. It all needs to be structured into a story. That would be the best way to honor him. Um, yeah. So I don't know. Guess that's all I got to say right now. Keep it West Side. Where do I put my... Is there hospital footage? No, there's no hospital footage. No, when you're protecting your little bro and you're worried for people to come in there and kill him, last thing you think about is taking pictures of footage. That just wouldn't make sense. But I'll tell you what though, Vegas police were not helpful. Are you aware of the 2018 documentary? You talking about the one that the estate's planning on doing? I've heard about it. Don't know much about it. The one that Steve McQueen, the English director, is supposed to be doing. Yeah, I mean, God bless them. If they can do something that's good and involves the right people and tells a good story, then hopefully it'll happen. I don't know. I don't really know. I'm not involved in that. Well, I appreciate you guys, man. I mean, you know, look, I guess I try to stay in touch and share whatever little journey I'm on because, you know, it sort of feels like Pac had apostles and he picked me. He called me the crazy Iranian and he picked me. So I kind of have a duty, and it's not clear. None of it's clear. It's been messy. It's been difficult. It's been financially challenging. But I guess I'm still here. I'm still breathing. I still have stories that I can tell, or I can be of assistance with other people that have stories to tell, and hopefully that'll happen, you know? It just sucks because I think Tupac was such a dynamic and unique character. Oh, you know what else I was going to say? I think people say Tupac was like a prophet. I know there's a doctor by the name of Arvan Aloui, Jewish Iranian kid. There's a surgeon that started the first class at Berkeley with Layla Steinberg, and he's I've never met anyone that knows how to dissect Pac's lyrics interview anything and everything about him, and he's a genius at dissecting. And he sort of feels like Pac's a prophet, and probably maybe even will be looked at as a prophet in 1,000 years. But for me, Pac had two parts to him. One side of him was a genius, and one side of him was an idiot. And I'll tell you why, because the idiotic part of him got himself killed. And he did us all a disservice by letting that happen. His lyrics, to me, didn't prophesize as much as they perpetuated. Because I think when you start talking about death and they're coming after you and everything, I think you bring that into your space. Just like being positive or negative, if you're always thinking that everyone's out to rob you and kill you and harm you, that's the kind of energy you're gonna bring into your space. But I'll tell you why I think he was an idiot. I think he was an idiot because he surrounded himself with people that were less than him. You said Nation of Islam, someone came to the hospital to protect him. Yeah, on the sixth day, the FOI finally showed up at the hospital. And that's kind of when I realized I had done whatever I could do, and I left that night. But the genius of him was his creativity and how it flowed out of him. I mean, he'd sit in the studio, and in 20 minutes he'd listen to a beat, and he'd have a track done, and he'd do he'd lay it down once, he'd double it and triple it, and in 45 minutes he'd be completely done with the song. I've never seen anyone do that. I've never seen anyone, whether they write it or don't write it or do it by memory, but he was just something else. But he also was able to manifest anything and everything he wanted to do. His acting, his movie deals. We had a 3-movie deal the week before he died. But he also needs to take responsibility for the people he surrounded himself with. His worst decision in my mind is the decision that got him killed was signing to death row. Because I think if it signed somewhere else that didn't have as much dark energy, he would have risen above it, because he was ready to leave death row. He was ready to do his own thing. Some people say he was conscious at the hospital, while other people, yeah. The whole time I was at the hospital, the nurse said to me the first time he came to, he struggled to pull his pipes out and his plugs and tube and everything, and they had to put him in an induced coma because they were afraid of him having a heart attack or cardiac arrest. So no one I know said they had a conversation with him. Some people have made some shit up. I know Shook said some shit. Some other people said some other stuff, but no, I never heard that. Anyway, all right, that's it for now. I guess I'll come back with more at some point soon. Anyway, you guys stay up, be positive, keep your heads up, and you know, keep it West Side. Speak soon.